Yet always be aware, if you are firmly determined, courageous and brave, honest, modest, virtuous, knowing, wisely unprejudiced as well as full of strength and energy, undeviatingly going your way and letting your true love govern, are persevering, observing your responsibility to yourself, to life and humans as well as to the entirety of nature and its life forms, then no kinds of attacks from the humans can hurt you. It is entirely the same regardless of whichever kind they may also be. You will defy fire, water and storm and thereby visibly verify the teachings of the truth for the fellow humans. Yet never use your powers of consciousness and of the spirit in order to gain profit or in order to put yourself on show. Because if you do employ these powers, be told this another time, then they should and are permitted to only be used for the purposes of instruction or to helpfully stand by the humans. And if you should be asked to do such, then do not do it, because otherwise you would thereby evoke dangers through which your work and mission would be endangered. Consider that now already in this regard you are able to produce great power through your consciousness and do things that are impossible for other humans, yet even if you can do them, do not put them on show, except if you are thereby able to give a lesson or use them for your own enjoyment or relief. More than ever, the coming time is developing into an epoch of great destruction and annihilation. It will begin with the criminal deeds of the Americans, when, in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they bring total annihilation and destruction as well as hundreds of thousands of deaths through the dropping of atom bombs, which will already happen shortly, as I already explained to you. In the coming time the human of Earth will lower himself still very much more, as he has done bellicosely since time immemorial, and through murderous religions and their sects, whereby he enslaved himself, especially through religions, to which he has become fanatically dependent and for which no human life is too valuable to him that he would not murder and exploit it, as is also the case with the rulers who know no kind of scruple. But you have come to clarify, for all humans, the hard truth with hard, open, undiplomatic and honest words, free of empty phrases, and to teach them so that they can find the right path to a higher plane. But for that it is necessary that you also occupy yourself with religions and sects, and learn what they are in their essential absence of value. It will be that you enter into them yourself and learn that you, however, in your knowledge as well as in your thoughts and feelings, belong to no religion and no sect, rather that you are oriented, singly and alone, with the teaching of the truth. The teaching of the truth should, in the distant future, lead to the raising of the entire terrestrial humanity, and indeed thereby that every individual human, in his higher self, consciously recognizes his creational spirit and its characteristics, and also brings into effect the spiritual values in his outer being, in his personality. Be told, however, that you must learn and practice tolerance so that you will not be partisan or unjust regarding religious beliefs of humans. Only that qualifies you to teach the humans in truthfulness, so that little by little, are able to free themselves from their dependency on lower powers. You must understand that. And if you understand that, then you will also live in simplicity, modesty, honesty and love. That qualifies you to carry the message of your mission, and thereby the teaching of the truth, out into the world. And that should take effect someday still far in the future, so that the angst is worked out of the world and all humans will be without angst and fear, and indeed also in association with this, that the employment of weapons for war-related and murderous purposes, and so forth, will cease, and they will only still find utilization for work and self-defense purposes. You must fulfill your task, and to that end it is also required that you, in word and text, learn the language through which you will spread the teaching of the truth. It is the language that you learn in school and of which you already have a good command, the German language. It is namely this one which is the most valuable on earth and offers the finest possibilities to bring the teaching of the truth finely nuanced. Therefore I will instruct you just as much in this language so that you make it your own in uncommonly many values and learn to command it in the best possible measure. As well as myself, also helpful to you will be our linguists who know and command the German language incomparably better, in all its details, than is the case with all terrestrial linguists. So you will learn a good and fluent, expressive and very extensive language, for which many will envy you. You will also develop your own unmistakable and clear writing style with which you will produce all your texts and books, just as you will also prepare telepathic and technologically telepathic and spiritual telepathic transmissions. You will reproduce your records which relate to this true to their meaning and without any corruptions and without any additions, however oriented according to your style of words and writing, so that it becomes unmistakable that it will only be you who will convey the messages, pieces of instruction, and, in later times, the following talks at meetings. That will therefore be a necessity, because many deceivers, thieves, charlatans, victims of delusion, insane and profit-greedy, will steal your material, adulterate it and will thereby make a profit. Also it will unfortunately be that many of the names of the persons you meet who are of extraterrestrial origin, as well as the designations of the purely spiritual levels, will be shamefully abused and the assertion will be made that you would not have the meetings with us from the Pleiadian systems, rather they would, or that they had these meetings at the same time as yours, which you and my successors will later name contacts and contact conversations. Then the point in time will come when these lying and slanderous events apply, when your material is thus stolen and many swindlers report worldwide in regard to alleged meetings with me and my successors, and they appear with false and fraudulent messages and even claim the impossibility that they are in telepathic connection with me or my successors. Then these false contact persons, as you will then call them, will already thereby be recognizable as they assert that their physical or telepathic meetings and connections exist with beings from the Pleiades system of this space-time configuration, whereby, indeed, these are supposed to be my successors and I. But we do not belong to this space-time configuration and thereby also not to this Pleiades system which is still very young in its existence and is little more than 60 million years old, and is absolutely uninhabited and uninhabitable in every regard, when thermobacterial life is disregarded which will disappear again and some tens of millions of years without higher life of some kind never being able to exist there. Subsequently spiritual beings will also never exist on these Pleiades stars. And in order to unmask the future swindlers, my successors and you will not name our origins according to our own language term, Pleiadian, rather by the terrestrial human term, Pleiades, in order that the swindlers will then use this term, whereby they will expose their own fraud and lies as well as slander. If this then happens in greater measure, then you, just as much as my successors, will reveal the truth and set everything right.